And it's that time, baby. Like we never left before. We're back at it again. You know, as you can see, we elevated a little bit. Of course, I got my boy Brett, aka the White Rhino, and baby, here we are, bro. Here we are. It's been a long time, but hey, like I said, we're back like we never left, bro. So what do you think of the new spot?
Man, like we obviously can't tell anybody where we're at.
Oh,
We're
no,
like
dude, no.
deep. We're probably what would you say about 160 feet down into the earth?
We're in a secret bunker. I'll tell you that because
Yeah.
everything going on in the world right now, things can get pretty dicey. So I
Yeah.
figured, it's time to plan ahead because we've always made that joke of like, in case WW4, or WW3 actually, commences, we'll still be potting through the whole thing, kind of give
Yeah.
everybody an update. But yeah,
it's
undisclosed location for sure. But yeah, man. So you love it. You love it.
I love this. This is like this is a whole new level.
Oh,
like
dude.
next chapter.
Dude.
Boom.
You know what's crazy? I want to take this back to when we first started, right? For anybody that's been watching up until this point or listening to this podcast up to this point, which we do want to send a huge shout out to all the people that have been watching, listening to all our past previous episodes.
Yes.
We highly appreciate that because we know that even if it's, a couple people, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever, right? If you enjoy what we do, we do it for that reason, right? Just to kind of give you a little escape from the real world and just giving you stuff to, listen to, be happy to, be angry to, whatever, right? Just to kind of pass the time by, but most importantly to entertain you folks. But a huge thank you to all you peeps. But it's crazy to look back at the very beginning to where we're at now, to just kind of look back and just see how far we've evolved. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
And how far we've come, because with all this, dude, it's like just learning how to do all this in general, like getting all this synced up. And when you watch this, I mean, you kind of have to ask yourself, like, what goes behind the scenes into just putting a podcast together? And there's different levels to it, but to get to this point, you know what I'm saying?
Most podcasters do not endure this long.
Yeah,
they don't. They crash out.
Yeah.
Well,
they just want stuff to do, right? Life hits you in different ways, right? And I get that, right? And I mean, of course, I think the last time we've touched base on this, baby girl was born October 1st, so we got her now in the mix. So yes, very happy with that. Real life situations, and just in the midst of all that, just kind of fast forwarding to now, just a lot of things have changed, of course. But with that being said, I definitely through that whole time I was like, okay, I enjoyed podcasting with my brother here, and I definitely want to come back harder on the next go around when we come back. Because I told them, hey, I just want to put a brief pause on this, but we want to come back and definitely get the show back on the road. But in the midst of that, I was thinking about just ways. Okay, how can we elevate ourselves, or what are different ways we can come at differently to put the Beyond Expedition podcast on a different level, right? And I feel like this is one of those evolutionary stages right here of the podcast, bro. But yeah, man,
this might be like final state. You know what I mean? This is crazy.
Yo, dude,
I would have never thought we would have had a spot like this.
No, bro, me too.
Never.
It's crazy how the stars align too, because again, and that's another crazy thing. It was one of those just. It never really expected it to come to this point to where like I was like, damn, we're gonna have like a legitimate own studio. Because we did the thing where we did the Zoom thing and everything. It worked cool for what it was, and we just found little intricate ways to do things differently. But to have like a legitimate spot, you know what I'm saying?
It's like when we first started this. Ooh, audio check.
Right. I think the mics picked that out.
Hopefully, this place isn't as confined as.
No, we're good. We're good. There's good airflow.
Got some circulation. But we were just playing when we first did this. Like we were just playing, just throwing noises at microphones. You know what I mean? And then, dude, now it's like bona fide, legitimate thing.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Wow.
So yeah. So people, welcome to the actual studio right here. As you can see, we got a little bit of everything that I feel I would say represents the podcast in a sense. It's a variety. We're a random podcast. That's the thing with this, right? We dive into the most randomness that this world has to offer. Stuff of interest that interests my boy Brett here, me myself, but just overall, just things of interest, right? Just the craziness that this I guess like I said, this life and the world has to offer. So
Ugh.
we got we'll just go around just pointing little things out here in the podcast studio. We got the homie Tupac, R.I.P., one of the great, if not the greatest rapper that ever lived, touched the mic. And of course, we got some bottles of tequila, of course, paying respects to the Mexican heritage, because we like to drink, party, and all that. UFC glove, fighting. I like watching UFC boxing and all that stuff. We got what is it? The Clip's latest album right there. That's actually signed. I wanted to pull the little thing out to show it, and I know I think I've touched base on that. That is signed by Malice and Pusha T. So shout out to them. One of the greatest rap duos to ever touch the mic as well. So that's a signed copy right there. A couple graded cards. Shout out to Tracy Cortez. She's a beast on the what is it, on the floor mats right there. Shout out to her. And just yeah, just I mean, that's a little bit of different variety of things. Just here chilling on the podcast, and of course, Brett actually brought something awesome to bless us with. I want to give a huge shout out to um, Hector and Eric. Hector and Eric.
Yes.
Yes, they brought us this. If you watch this episode, we had a episode that we recorded at the homeboys Five Rivers restaurant. Shout outs to them. Awesome Indian food. If you want to go check them out, do so. They're in Everett.
Yeah.
They hosted us there. We put on a live show in front of actually our first live audience. That's
That
crazy
was
to think, right?
amazing.
That was an awesome day. We had a
big
couple
moment.
that we had a couple people that came on and were participated to be guests on the podcast there too as well. The topic was in regards to Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the mythical creature, right? The Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
But they blessed us with a gift. Now, right here in my hands. So I'll pull it up. Boom, right here. I'm gonna show this off. Right there, people. Right there. See that? An actual footprint of a Sasquatch.
Yeah,
and they is a juvenile, right?
Hector, yeah, Hector calls him. I don't know if that's Junior, if that's actually Junior, but that's definitely a juvenile Sasquatch.
Yeah, right
So
there.
that's and man, Hector has been I've been seeing him, and I told him, we're in this new chapter, we're about to enter a new chapter, but he's dying to get back together with us because he has some big updates as well. So.
Okay, so definitely, that's a topic of discussion we definitely like to dive back into, just because they're the people, they are the gentlemen that have boots on the ground, really going into deep dives in regards to this just phenomenon. I guess we can call it a phenomenon, right? Like this
Yeah.
topic,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
We'll definitely have to touch base with them. But again, shout out to Eric and Hector for blessing us with that piece. It'll make room. We'll have to make room for it here in the studio. We'll have to display it some way somehow. So for now, it'll be right here.
And
in the corner right here.
for
Yes, shout out to him.
letting us do our first so far only live event, live episode.
Yep,
and
yep.
then Filthy Wicked
Filthy
and
Wicked, shout
Shion
out to
for
Filthy Shion. Yep.
jumping in and giving their background, their experience on that. That was some really, really dope. That was a highlight, dude.
That was. Again, baby stages or baby steps, right? It's all part of the journey with this podcast. So it's been a hell of a ride, brother. But you know what? I'm sticking with you till the end. And I said that in the very beginning. Like if I commit myself to something, I'm gonna ride this to the wheels fall off.
Man. Blood out.
Exactly. Until we're old and gray. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
No, so you're a beard, dude.
You see the gray starting. Yeah. They're starting to establish, but it's all wisdom.
It's all wisdom, right? What do they call it? Like you're a silver fox now, silver fox.
Yeah, well, the salt and pepper. Yeah,
salt and pepper. Yes, sir. But brother, it's been a while. Do you want to actually, if you want to share, this part? You were in the Philippines not too long ago.
Yeah, we went down there. We did. We were down there for 3 weeks.
Okay. How was that?
Oh man, yeah, you're right. Oh well, dude, we got hit by 2 typhoons there.
Yes. So okay. Wow. Tell me about that, because I know the last time you were there, you got hit with another one too, right? You were in the midst of that where there was a hurricane or something like that?
So at that time, in 2013, it was in November of 2013. All you fact checkers, check it. And that was Hurricane Yolanda is what the name of that one was. And that was a category, I want to say that was category 5. And at that time, it was the world's largest hurricane.
Damn.
Typhoon, I should say. I'm calling it. It's the same thing, but I've always heard that if it's in the Atlantic Ocean, they call it a hurricane, and if it's in the Pacific Ocean, they call it a typhoon.
Okay.
So, but anyway, it was Yolanda was the name of that one, And when it hit 2 islands over from us, and I said before it hit, it made landfall, I said, "I gotta get out of here." So I
Yeah.
flew up north. I flew up and we finished our vacation in Manila. And I still have that newspaper. And it was so underestimating the loss of life and
Yeah.
property value. Uh, they said 1,200 missing, and it
Damn.
ended up being something like 10,000 lives perished in that storm. Um,
That's crazy.
and so this time around, we were hit, and it was category 4. But it was a direct landfall. It hit us directly, and man, I wish I would have prepared, but I have pictures of the devastation. But I will say,
Okay.
with all the devastation that took place, I mean, we're talking the concrete, the trees just fallen over, power lines down, the river had surpassed the level of flood. And so I think at one time the water was actually going over the bridge.
Yeah.
By the time I saw it, it had subsided a bit, but it was still at that dangerous level. And so we're just seeing all this. I mean, I'd never seen destruction like I saw down there.
That's crazy, bro. I
Yeah.
remember you telling me that when I was on the phone, like, dude, well, for one, I was like, I hope you and wifey, everybody's okay. Cause it's like, you just never know. You're like, when is your time to go? It's your time to go. I'm not trying to, put anything out there, but I mean, you just never know.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
And the thing is our we are in a good place that if we are meant to go, we are ready.
Yeah.
And so we don't fear death as much as maybe we used to. Now it's just okay. We've lived a really good life, and if it's time, it's time. But there were no deaths in our city when we were down there. There were no deaths.
Good.
We did. One of the neighbors took me to a place where the town has where they people who lost their
Mhm.
homes, didn't have a place to stay, didn't have any food. That's where they so he showed me that place, and there were a lot of families there. It was full. Definitely a lot of destruction, loss of property, all that. But thankfully there were no losses of life.
That's good.
So
That's good, man. Well, glad everything went well, but you had a good time overall when you went
went
down there.
well.
Yeah.
No, it did go well. It was a good vacation.
That's a good vacation.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. That's good. You were there for how long?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Dang.
So right after that storm had hit, then there was another. This one was a category 5
Damn.
that hit the northern part. Well, the northern part, it didn't hit. It didn't reach the devastation levels that the one that hit us did. And the reason why, it's because they have rainforest up north that they didn't cut down any of the rainforest. So I think it's called the Sierra Madres.
Hmm.
Is that rainforest protected everybody west of that storm. So the rainforest absorbed the storm, the strength.
Nice.
So that was really cool. But in Cebu, we were in the central part of the country, and they have cut the rainforest down. So they cut their protective layer down.
Hmm.
That's why it's so much more devastating in the central part than the north.
Okay. Okay. Dang. Interesting. All right. 3 weeks. Came back. And then after that, dang, I'm trying to go back because it's been a while, man.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's been a lot of life
really
that's
touched
happened.
back. I think it's since the last time we recorded it. I want to say I looked back at our latest videos, probably like almost like 7, 8 months ago.
Wow.
So it has
Wow.
been a minute. But nonetheless, brother, with everything going on outside the real world, it's a lot has happened.
Oh boy. Oh
Oh,
boy.
I know there's a lot of things we definitely would want to touch base on. I mean, that's the thing, right? I feel like on this episode, of course, we just wanted to kind of, touch base on just everything that we missed, everything that's been going on, share a little info just in regards to me and my boy here,
Hmm.
of course. But I mean, do you want to go first on anything that you want to get off rip off top that you want to bring to the forefront, or do you want
No, I
to?
think you have some stuff ready to go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That yeah, I wanna know what you've got, because you've got some fire.
Yeah. So of course, in the past, as you can see behind me, there's a flying saucer, of course, and It's
Which one?
no, right? That's crazy, right? I never really thought about that. Like, dude, there's two flying saucers. What if that was inspiration for the real deal, right?
Mhm.
So, nonetheless, of course, yeah, we're recording this on a Saturday. So yesterday on Friday,
Actually, not just a Saturday. We're in Holy Week
Holy
right
Week.
now.
Yes,
So
yes,
this
yes.
is Holy Saturday. Some people will call it Silent Saturday.
On Saturday, okay.
So yeah.
So yesterday on the 3rd, Bob Lazar they released a new documentary in regards to Bob Lazar, which is titled S4. S4 was a hidden base carved into a mountainside, accessible only through reinforced doors that was camouflaged to look like a desert. So this was in Nevada, right?
Mm.
So we've talked about Bob Lazar in the past, in a past previous episode. If you want to go look that up, all our episodes are available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where you can stream all your major podcast at. We're everywhere really. So just look us up. But we've recorded an episode in regards of just his story, just kind of who he is and the stuff that, in regards to him, whistleblowing, in regards to just reverse engineering what they deem a UFO recovered or retrievals of UFO saucers, right? I
Mhm.
don't know. I think I butchered
Mhm.
that. But so this was him in the 1980s, right? He came out and pretty much said that he had worked at an Area 51, which is S4, that they had hired him to reverse engineer these UFO crafts that they had obtained, right? So a new documentary came out, him really describing in keen detail what he saw, what he worked on, who he was working with, and just describing everything that he had seen those couple days that he was working at S4. And I didn't finish watching the whole documentary, but I watched majority of it. And I'll tell you what, in 2006 with me, I had watched just a little bit about who he was. That was like my gateway into falling into I don't want to say into the whole realm in regards to UFOs, UAPs, all that. Because at the time, I don't think they didn't call them UAPs until probably like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, it was just a few years ago they
Yeah.
changed that. Yeah.
So, but just aliens overall, because
I think it was 2016 or something like
I
that.
believe so. So the whole topic about that was just kind of a little bit tabooish to me because I don't know. I just really had I guess you want to say a closed mind about it. Didn't really take it too serious. But I'll tell you what, that story within itself really sucked me into this whole topic.
Mhm.
And as we move in time, just as we go on later in time, they come to find out a lot of these things he was talking about back then, he was right.
Yeah,
So
it's
I don't know how
crazy.
you want to, for anybody that, if you believe or don't believe, if you want to put all that together, I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like we have to really kind of look back at and really kind of take that story to within itself and to just really sit there for a minute and think, are we really the only living things in this whole universe? And that's the thing, right? Like you kind of have to think about it in that aspect, not just think in the realms of UFOs and all that. No, in this whole entire galaxy, do we really believe we're the only planet that contains living things?
Do you think that these UAPs, this aerial phenomena that we're talking about, do you think that they are still following the laws of space and time, or do you think that they could be interdimensional?
That's
Does anything that Bob Lazar point toward them being maybe interdimensional?
He did. He
He
did actually
did.
talk
Okay.
about that, how they
Okay.
could it's another possibility that could be interdimensional beings that
Ah,
not necessarily be only, space travelers or, entities from a different planet, but
yeah.
interdimensional travelers too. That could be another possibility. So, but for anybody that hasn't really touched base on this or anybody that hasn't really, the question is who's Bob Lazar, right? I can
Yeah.
school you up
Who
on a
is
little bit
he?
about that. So he's a central figure in the UFO lore, best known for being the whistleblower who first brought the name Area 51 into the public consciousness. In 1989, he claimed to have worked as a physicist at the secret facility called S4, located near Area 51 in Nevada, where he was tasked to reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology.
Mm,
So, of course, the alien craft. He claimed the U.S. government possessed 9 alien spacecraft, which is crazy. One of the spacecrafts they said they recovered from deep down underwater.
yeah, I've heard that.
So
Heard that.
I'm a firm believer that, dude, they say that, well, actually, it's true that the ocean is one of the vastly most uh like they haven't really explored what's really down there.
Yeah, like 70% of this Earth is water, and that could definitely conceal some portals, maybe,
Portals, or just we don't know what's down
or
there.
bases
Yeah, because
altogether. Yeah.
there's been a lot of sightings of these craft like coming out of the water
Mm-hmm.
and going into the water.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I mean, to me, like I said, the fear of the ocean runs deep for me. I just
Even
the
even
unknown of not knowing what's down there.
I think Columbus, in some of his diaries, um,
Oh, really?
the diaries of some of their people, they had seen crafts coming from the water as well.
We have to look that up. Wow,
Yeah.
we have to look that up. Okay, so there's one thing that in 1943, on January 9th, Dominican Republic, Christopher Columbus recorded seeing three mermaids rising from the sea, which he described as not half as beautiful as they are painted. Historians and scientists generally agree that these were not mythical beings, but rather manatees or cows.
Sea cows.
Yeah, which have humanoid faces and flippers that can appear mermaid-like from the distance. So
This one would be one we'd have to dig into a
for
little bit.
sure, for sure. Oh, right here. Other potential sightings. Earlier on October 11th, 1492, Columbus recorded seeing a mysterious glimmering light at the distance that seemed to rise out of the water,
There you go.
which some have suggested could be bioluminescent fireworms, canoes, or simply a trick of light. But back then, it's like, what would you see? Like, I can understand maybe the bioluminescent fireworms and all that, but anything else in regards to light, like unless there's like other ships out there, but at the time, it would be less than likely to see something like that out there, just kind of
Right.
like floating
Well,
around,
and
right?
and you have to understand that, okay, if this is the evidence that they're putting forth, this is what they saw with their naked eye,
Yeah.
and they documented it, and then all of a sudden, that's 1492. So what, 600 years later, we're
Yeah.
still seeing roughly the same thing.
Hmm.
So you got to give credence to it a little
Oh yeah,
bit.
for sure. I mean, all this has to be taken into account because everything has to. We kind of have to put everything together to really, I guess, see if we're really seeing all these things coming out of the ocean, or if there's anything down there that we can deem as like a, just UAPs or UFOs, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So okay. This is where it gets. So this is another thing that I definitely want to show to the listeners and viewers, and also for anybody listening to this podcast. If you want to see what we show up here in the videos in regards to just reference or any pictures that we want to show, you definitely need to check out the YouTube portion of this episode so you can get a clear indication of how all this pieces together and just the craziness with this technology. So now, this is where it gets very weird, people. This is, I think, it's like the icing on the cake, right? And I'm gonna try to describe it as best as I can when I was watching this documentary and just how you describe this technology and how it works. So I'll pull up a picture here, Brett, and I want you to see for yourself, okay? So let me see. Let me do this real quick. Okay. All right. So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is Bob Lazar. Okay. So down below, what he's holding in his hand is element 115. Element 115 during the time when he was talking about, they didn't call it element 15. They had another name for it. But that element wasn't discovered until years later, right? So that's the other thing. He already had hands on it before it was even discovered, but they knew about it back then. Later down the road, they had deemed it element 115.
Yeah. So they gave it the official name,
Yes,
even though he'd already been seeing this.
exactly. So that's the one thing where I can say that's okay. How can you explain that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So two. Okay, so as we see down below, right here, I'm gonna follow this little pointer right here. This little contraption here, correct? So, Brett, when you look at this, we probably don't really make too much of it, right? You're like, okay, well, it's like a half a basketball or half a ball right here, cut into half, right?
Yeah. Looks like he's
So,
building a lava lamp.
lava lamp, right? Like a pretty old school lava lamp right there, right? So, how everything works, this little triangle goes into this little cylindrical holding right here down below.
Mm.
So he places that in there, and he states for him not to cause any type of explosion, he would have to place this half of basketball right here and put it over this little cylindrical piece. And once it touches the surface, it creates a gravitational like pull or push.
Oh.
So in theory, just to kind of dumb it down, right? Because for me, I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, right? But what it does is it creates this gravity. It's like, think of it as like two magnets, right? When you hold it together,
Yeah.
when you kind of hold them together, they push themselves away. This exact thing did the same thing.
Yeah.
So once he tried to get close to it, he would try to push like his hands against it. It would instantly push it backwards. So he's creating a gravitational field.
Huh.
But this is what's crazy.
So
They did not
wow.
know how this worked because they had these two other pieces, an amplifier and then this other type of reactor where Barry, the scientist that he was working with at the time, he would turn it. And then this amplifier would amplify that gravitational pull once that piece was on top of the cylindrical piece. And that's how it worked. But the craziest thing, all of it was wireless. There was no wires, no nothing touching, nothing to one another for this to work. So you, Brett, how do you think, how would you explain that to the people to see like, okay, we're not dealing with any type of magic here. Something's going on here, especially
Yeah.
if you're creating gravity like that for it to push away like that. That's insane.
Right.
That is like,
Yeah.
imagine all the things you could do at this point with that type of technology. Because they were there. That's what they hired this man to do, to reverse engineer this. So obviously, so we could use it to some type of a benefit, right?
Yeah.
So
What's interesting is because you used the magnet uh, analogy earlier.
yeah,
When you put, two of the similar ends, like positive and positive,
yeah,
it's going to push against each other. But um, our magnetic field, it has everything to do with the North Pole. That's
yeah,
where so in order for this to work, now I'm with you. I'm not deep into all this stuff, but I'm just trying to dissect it, flesh it out with what we see here. Is he's talking about, this isn't having anything to do with magnetism.
no,
This is gravity.
yeah,
It's almost like they have figured out, whoever they is,
yeah,
government, extraterrestrials, if
yeah,
that's what they're calling, or whatever this phenomena is,
yeah,
it's able to defy gravity as we know it.
yes. And that's the thing.
With the use of this element 15 and these other pieces, proponents, or components that are involved. Wow.
So this is the other crazy part too, right? When he was talking about it in the documentary, before he had a guy hired on, Barry had told him that they were trying to cut into this piece. The past previous scientist that they had there was trying to cut into one of these pieces, and it set off an explosion, and he got killed.
No way.
Yep. So
Eh,
this thing must harness a lot of power
Yeah.
if it's able to do that. And they were being very careful with it because obviously these dudes don't know what they're dealing with. This is
Right.
something that this was when he had first witnessed how it worked, his mind was blown. He's like,
Rest in
there's
peace to the home.
there's no way that this thing should exist. And
Mm-hmm.
how it works, he had no idea. But the power of this, right? This is pretty much the power source of how what he thinks these flying saucers work, because it's supposed to push away, and you're literally just moving off the gravitational push from these cylindrical things with M115 and this type of power it creates. And we always imagine that these saucers fly just kind of like, I would want to say, horizontally.
Mm-hmm.
They actually fly like almost if they're vertically.
Oh,
So
really?
they actually push.
What?
Yeah. So it's completely opposite of what we think a flying saucer actually flies.
So why are we seeing flying saucers and all this
So
ice?
maybe because if they're
eyewitnesses?
maybe if because if they're in like in a standard mode, if they're just floating, yes. But when they take off, they just kind of push away and they take off.
Oh,
So that's kind of how we've seen it. There's actually a video out there where it shows one of them in a vertical stance and it's flying.
wow.
So dude, it's
Well, that's
I don't know, man. I just I was very sucked into the documentary, just him revisiting everything. And it's a very good one. You guys should go check it out. For
So
anybody that's interested in this, go check it out. He recounts everything from just kind of how he got into it. He was just I don't want to say like just a straight up nerd, like trying to build. I think his first interest was building a rocket powered car. He had used his wife's Honda Civic. It was like a little old Honda
yeah,
Civic hatchback. He put a straight up rocket in there, and he was driving around the Nevada desert. And that's kind of how they kind of got onto him to see if this is the type of guy that could probably dissect this and try to maybe figure out how this works. And that's kind of how he got hired on to work at S4 to work on this
interesting.
type of stuff. But he was just a dude that just loved science and just loved to maybe just you know he could probably contain the back engineering techniques to just figure out how this thing works.
I feel like there's different, no pun intended, but I feel like there's different elements to the story, right?
Yeah,
So we're on one side you have these crafts that we're looking at. Then on the other side you have these so-called entities
Yeah.
that are piloting
Yeah.
or seem to be piloting these crafts. And did you hear recently, and it was this week that came out, where this congressman had said that he came out of this briefing and
Right there, brother.
yeah, so it started with Matt
Yeah,
Gaetz,
it is.
right? And then he was the one that said, "Hey, there is this hybrid breeding program going on. Hybrid meaning humans and aliens and captured aliens, and they're mating, and then they say you would be surprised at what is out there." Like, as in, I mean, the impression I'm getting is there are people probably in the government that are hybrids and we don't even know. I
Dude.
mean, that's the impression I'm getting, right? But they, because everything's so classified and kept undercover. But then there was a current, yeah, I think, yeah. Go back to that
Yes,
story.
sir, sir, right here. So
Tim Burchett, is that what his name? Yeah, Tim Burchett. He's the one saying, yes, he's the one saying you can't even, like, he cannot reveal all the stuff that's coming out, but it is crazy. I mean, they're Congress is getting all of these updates on this stuff, and that's what's great. So that's what I'm saying. So you've got the Bob Lazar in.
yes.
He's focusing on the technology
Yeah.
of this stuff, and then you've got the Matt Gaetz and all the other people that have come out, and they're coming out with the other end of it, where okay, we're talking about the craft, and then now we're talking about the pilots. So you've got the pilots and the crafts, and there's definitely a story out there that is wild. I mean, and
Yeah.
both are beyond what our current level of technology and understanding is of human species or living species, and the technology that got them here.
Brother, that topic right there we were talking about, I think you had to send me something, I think a link to it, right? My little brain could have fathomed, like, okay, now we're going a step further. Like, first of all, we're talking about just the whole UAP thing. I think now, to a lot of people, they're morally exposed to where, like, feelings exist, they exist, whatever, we're just kind of like, you just kind of shrug your shoulders, like, it is what it is, right?
Desensitized to it,
But
right?
now we're talking like we're talking about a full breeding program where, like, they're trying to mix non-human with human. It's like,
Yeah. Have they been our president? Have we had a hybrid president? Have we had a hybrid
oh my
military
word,
general?
dude.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
that's the stuff that we deserve to know, because when we are casting our vote for politicians, we're voting for humans,
Yeah.
right? We should be able to know if who we're voting for is not a freaking alien
God, man, it's crazy. So, okay.
or a hybrid.
So we'll give a little people of just a little summary of this whole UAP breeding program, right? So as of April 2026 of this year, the most significant update regarding an alleged UAP breeding program comes from recent public statements by former U.S. Representative Matt Gaetz. In late March 2026, Gaetz claimed he has briefed by a senior enlisted man with the U.S. Army about a secret hybrid breed program.
Mm.
So a whistleblower allegedly told Gates the program involved mating captured aliens with humans to create a hybrid race capable of intergalactic communication. Dude. Oh man,
Yeah.
the next couple of years is gonna be wild, right? But you know what, people? That's what we have the podcast to talk about this stuff, baby. But nonetheless, intergalactic communication. Now,
Yeah.
oh man,
It's like okay, it's like encryption, right? When you
yeah,
send an encrypted email,
yeah,
only you and the other party, the receiving party, can see it. Nobody can hack into an encrypted
yeah, yeah,
thing, right? Communication. But yeah, you look at what's entailed in encryption. There's a lot that's involved.
yeah,
Dude, this is exponentially more complicated, right? You're talking about intergalactic. You can't do that with the current rules as we understand it of space and time. There's got to be portals.
yeah,
And that means somebody has figured out that code. They've
yeah,
figured out. And so now you look at what does that mean to us, right? This isn't just aliens exist and they're flying on saucers and all that. No, what does this really mean? The biggest fear I think that a lot of us have is, is the human race going to be in slavery? Are we going to be serving an alien race?
Well, if you want to think about it, right? They're all it's
And are we going to be forced to breed with them? Come on.
dude, you're gonna have alien babies, dude.
No, I don't want no alien babies. You know, they're ugly, dude.
Oh man, it's insane, dude. I just the intergalactic communication part, right? What do they harness? This is again me, tinfoil hat Eduardo, right? They're able to do something that us humans can't do.
Yeah, like yeah,
Capable of, like you said, could it be being able to open portals, being able
manipulate space and time,
manipulate space and time, just things that they're able to do, right? Aside from
mind
us humans,
control.
mind control, you name it, right? That's very interesting. That part right there, intergalactic communication. So now that opens up the theory of there's got to be more of them out there,
Well, but here's the thing. Is this world that we know of, is it a lie?
right?
Right? Or is it a what do they call it? A script.
Mm,
Whatever. The thing is like is all of the assimilation. Is this assimilation,
yeah, it's a
right?
simulation.
There's
Yeah,
someone controlling all this stuff.
yeah,
But you talk about the Mandela effect.
yeah,
And look at the fruit of the loom. Everybody remembers the cornucopia being on that label.
yeah, yeah.
And so what
Yeah.
have they been able to manipulate our history? Why would all of us remember a cornucopia being on the tag of our undies,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, "No, bro, it never existed." Were they able to manipulate
Yeah.
history as we understood it? Because if they can, then that means we can believe nothing.
Yeah. Everything can be changed, snap of a finger like that, and just be able to like kind of what is it, steer the masses to believing something completely different, opposite or different, right?
Right. And then
Insane.
we are easily controlled because if we can't even believe our own history, then what can we believe?
It's insane, dude. So according to them, Gates reported being told that there's between 6 to 12 breeding facilities currently operating across the United States.
That's gross.
It's a whorehouse of freaking UAPs.
Yeah, right?
Oh man, this is a lot crazier than just reading the.
So what does it say? Abduction claims the whistleblower alleges that humans used in the program were abducted from sensitive areas, including war zones and migrant caravans. You know how many people have go missing?
Oh, dude, yeah,
We keep blaming the Epstein list,
yeah, right,
but dude,
right there.
now there's that. Is that was Epstein used as a cover up to hide something? I mean,
Hey,
Epstein was nefarious.
tinfoil hat time, dude.
Why?
Straight up, no, that's true. A lot of
And
kids, a lot of kids go missing too. Just a lot of people in general. Like, what if all this stuff is just a pawn?
Yeah, I've always heard that a lot of kids go missing. There's notices that go out. A lot of kids go missing over the week of Passover, and there's a certain allusion to that I won't explain on the podcast.
It's probably Patreon exclusive stuff right there.
But
Probably
spend enough time on X, you'll figure it out.
That's what I'm trying to-
But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but national parks, they
Oh,
have
yes, that
talked
one
a
too.
lot of
That's a lot of crazy ones.
Then they talk about a tunnel system being throughout the United States that connect to each of these national parks. The Denver airport, I mean,
Yep,
have you
that
ever
one
heard
too.
yeah, any of that stuff? There's a lot of stuff going on with the Denver airport and an airport, a hub of travel, and we have all these missing people. And or maybe it's just this coalition of nefarious parties that are like, "Hey, we need the kids for this, you need the kids for that. Let's just all go in cahoots with each
Yeah.
other and help each other out. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, and either way we get the kids." I mean, the kids are always the target.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. The kids are always their target. And when I say they, I mean all of the people, the parties involved in all these nefarious actions.
So you're probably, yeah, being in cahoots, being in line with a certain agreement, and say, hey, you do this, we do this.
Yeah.
Insane, dude.
Yeah.
And we got to fight against evil. That's all I know, man. Screw that, dude. That's so now we got to go, but now we got to go up against the elites and the UAPs.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's all you got to find where the head of the snake is, right?
Right.
This is just one hydra where there's just a number of heads popping out, and so you cut one head off and another one. Like for instance, Jeffrey Epstein has been dead, but we know darn well that it's just going to grow a new head.
Yeah.
Some people are saying Jared Kushner could be the new head.
Mm, okay.
And Jared Kushner, looking at him, the address, he specifically bought property in New York with the address of 666 Fifth Avenue. He specifically wanted to buy that address.
Coincidence?
No, I'm sure it's all by design. I'm
Jesus
sure it's all
Christ.
by design.
No, man, that's crazy. So Gates admitted that he has not verified these claims himself, but stated the briefing took place in his Florida office with his staff present. So more on that to come. But yeah, so breeding program, is it real or not? What do you people think? Let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Do you think this is you know, it's insane to think, man.
That's a good point. Collectively, it's gonna take all of us to come together to flesh all of this stuff out and to really be on guard, know who the enemy is, what the enemy is, and how we can protect ourselves from this type of thing. And it's gonna take all of us at this point.
So one of Babbitt, who's this gentleman?
Oh yeah.
Senator Babbitt, right?
Yes.
So Senator Babbitt said, and he quoted, "I wish I could say more, but unfortunately, everything I know about the alien hybrid program is classified. Let's just say some of you would be very surprised who's not entirely human.
That's
the
one.
all I'm authorized to disclose at this time."
Yep.
So
keep an eye on him.
Take it
They
for
might
what it
try to
is.
slaughter his re-election campaign.
Oh, didn't you hear about the other gentleman that got killed? That he was about to come out and disclose some information too. He was like a general, and they popped him.
Yes.
What was his name? Do you
I don't know his name.
Okay.
And then after we talk about that, we have to talk about the amount of scientists that are getting murked. I mean, we're talking on an astronomical level.
Okay.
So yes.
What about that one? Okay. So let's go to the guy. I need to find out that gentleman's name in regards to he was a general, he was about to talk about something, and he got killed
You're
recently.
talking about that he was hiking in the woods. He went hiking. Hiking in the woods. Yeah, whistleblower. Yes.
He was Forest Service whistleblower, or is he archaeologist?
Let's see. No, it's got to be something new. So it's got to be in the news. Was he?
Sorry, people. We do this all at once.
Yeah, we're on the fly right
here.
now. There we go.
So, retired Major General William Neal McCasland, known for overseeing classified UAP UFO programs, went missing in New Mexico on February 27, 2026, after going hiking. His disappearance has raised concerns within the UFO whistleblower community, where he was noted for his expertise in retrieve technology programs. Background: Major General McCasland is a retired U.S. officer who was linked to investigations into, quote, non-human intelligence and UAPs. The incident: he was reported missing in Albuquerque, New Mexico, after departing for a hike. His disappearance is highlighted in discussions regarding the safety and scrutiny of officials involved in sensitive or classified intelligence, particularly those linked to U.S. UAP disclosures. Wow.
Yeah. It's wild, and
yeah,
no evidence, no nothing. I mean, we're talking about radio silence right now with these people, and it's not just him, but that's a big one. That's a big one.
That is. I do remember seeing this, but see, okay, the thing we're trying to point out here, people, right? Let's think about this logically. Why is it that when we get so close, or once we get closer to exposing the truth in certain things, they kind of get hush hush about it, they brush it under the rug, people get killed, or they go missing,
right?
And it just stops there.
A lot of double tap.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with me. Like, why is it that even if this is gonna just create a massive ripple effect in regards to human history, just in general, right? But the fact that I think people would want to know, for me, I don't want to know the truth. I think the longer that we know the truth, we take time to absorb it, really kind of think about everything in general, like history in general. Like, we've been lied about it, but we want to know the truth. The truth shall set you free, like they say, right? So I just want to know everything in regards about this. Just because now that everything is coming out, there's more stuff. I mean, with the internet, right? There's people posting, showing a lot of things. People are more prone to actually be able to share this in real time when stuff is discovered. It's just insane to think that this is like a huge thing now
Yeah.
in regards to just exposing a lot of this stuff, right? But bro, yeah, this is crazy.
I think
This is
what they're hiding, Eduardo, is that we are already in bondage and we just don't know it. So they're hiding the fact that we don't know that we are already in slavery,
yeah,
that they've controlled everything. They've controlled almost every facet of our lives. And but they're tightening the noose, right? They're like in Germany right now. I just saw they have now passed a law under the guise of service in the military for men. It used to be if military men ages 18 to 45, something like that, uh, they could go to another country to go to schooling or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, now they're saying that they need permission from the German military to be able to stay out of the country longer than 3 months.
What the hell?
And that's under the guise of military service. However, it affects all German men.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of German men that are never going to be in the military. There's peacetime. This doesn't it doesn't make any distinction between peacetime and wartime. It's just saying this is the way it's going to be. We have covered on this podcast so many times the concept of 15-minute cities.
yes. That was actually a hot. We're on TikTok two people for small short clips. That's the only reason we use that app. But that right there, my friend, which is crazy because I was just watching the video yesterday to talk about that. It's one of our most viewed videos.
I'm telling
That's
you,
crazy.
and they are not stopping. They are doing more, but they're getting creative and they're doing it in new ways. And so the German the government of Germany is now telling these men, you're not leaving more than 3 months.
Mm,
And so then and they're doing it under this German in particularly, they are doing it under the guise of military service, but other countries will do it under the guise of climate change. They'll
mm.
say, "Oh, we can't have all of these people traveling at once." So it's like going to Disneyland, and I don't know if you've been to Disneyland recently.
I was there. I would say a couple years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so if you buy the Fast Pass,
Hmm.
the Fast Pass is supposed to be able to put you first in line, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, now you have to have time slots. They'll say, you will be one of the first in line, but under this time slot. So they're giving everybody a turn. This is what they're doing to the world now. They're controlling everybody. So that's the point I'm trying to make is, are we already in slavery and we just don't know it? And is there more to this? Is there a race of beings beyond human that are controlling the humans on this planet?
That's crazy, dude.
And Bill, what was his name? The godfather of conspiracies.
Bill
He's the one that wrote Beyond a Pale Horse.
Beyond the Pale Horse.
Bill.
William Cooper.
Bill Cooper. Yeah, Bill Cooper.
Yeah.
So he's the one in that book, Beyond a Pale Horse. He talks about in the 40s, the government working with the aliens, right? And here we are in 2020, 80 years later, and we're still now we're closer than ever. We're closer than ever, but it has not been disclosed. We have not seen disclosure. We're getting closer, but we're not there yet.
That's insane. Yeah, I remember you talking about this too before, but the 15-minute city concept, right, is an urban planning concept where residents can access essential services, work, shopping, education, and healthcare, all within 15 minutes of walking or biking a ride from home. Popularized by Carlos Moreno, this model aims to improve quality of life, reduce car resilience, and enhance sustainability by creating compact, mixed-use neighborhoods.
Yeah, so it's an open city prison. That's all that it is. You will need permission to leave the city if you ever want to leave. Need permission. Who are we not free? That
Yeah.
What is freedom then? What is freedom? If you need permission to be able to leave.
Yeah. They say in Shanghai that Shanghai is aiming for 99% of public services to be accessible within 15 minutes by 2035.
Yeah. Yeah, 2030 is the big date of the World Economic Forum. You know, that's uh, just because a subject goes silent and we have new headlines, you've got to put a bookmark on these topics. You cannot forget about these because that's what they're relying on. They're relying on us to be distracted on this new shiny new headline to be able to build that infrastructure on what got hot. They had to stop all of that because we took the attention. We took our eye off the ball. And we're going to get a strike. We're going to strike out if we keep forgetting about all this other stuff.
That's crazy. Yeah. So definitely people 2030, we're only a couple years away, 4 years away.
4 years away.
That's insane.
Yep.
It's going to get rocky and it's going to get dicey.
And you've got to this war that we are in with Iran.
Yeah.
It's so unreal. It's so unreal. Where are we at on time?
We are 50 minutes in, but it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just when these wars started under previous presidents, there was a general that came out. I believe he was a whistleblower, and he said there was a plan, a conquest plan to be able to defeat 7 nations in 7 years. So, in 8 years, there you go. Look at what this has to say.
In 5 years.
7 nations in 5 years. 7 countries in 5 years. Okay? And what are those countries? And so we're talking about Wesley Clark. Yep, Allied Commander Wesley Clark. So we had first Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. Iran was part of this. And the thing was these were countries that were not a part of the central banking. The central bankers. The central bankers did not have control over these countries. Not only that, but they've got the oil. So they are able to bypass the central bank and become enriched nations with their own protections, their own armies. And Iran was the big dog. They had to save Iran for last because it is a nation of 90 million people with rugged terrain. They know it's going to be a very hard country to defeat. So why would President Trump come out and tell the American people a known lie that it was only going to take 4 days? When they first came out.
Yeah.
And Charlie Kirk, before he was taken out of the game, he had warned. He was the only direct contact between the people and the president that said, Mr. President, the people do not want this war with Iran.
Yeah.
And just a few months later, he was taken out. The only person who could talk enough sense to the president. He was taken out. And there's a lot of weird theories with that one.
Oh man, I mean, one of the. I know we're jumping everywhere on this.
For another,
yeah, we can definitely save that for another one. But that one's crazy because they're just releasing some new stuff coming out.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty.
Keep your
crazy.
eye on that ball too, people.
So yeah, nah, man, it's insane. Like again, I always look at it where man, like all these wars, like why? And of course, like you got stuff like this, right? But I don't know, man. I just always been a firm believer. Like we should focus on this country first and foremost, bro. Like I don't know why we're trying to stake our hands in different kind of cookie jars out there. It's like why, hey, So again, that's just my 2 cents. I don't know anything. I'm just saying again, for me, from my own personal beliefs, why?
Well, yeah. I mean, you say you don't know anything, but how do we grow to know something? Yeah. We use evidence, the evidence that's put in front of us. We were all made with a rational mind to understand that with enough evidence, we can eventually get to the truth.
Yeah.
And what's happening right now is we've got this fog of war. We've got these psyops. We've got these government programs. These psyops are government programs made to confuse the the people of the country.
Yeah. It's insane, man. Especially with this whole, I mean, we're talking about, I mean, just think about it. These hybrid breeding programs, they're keeping this under wraps, and who would have thought this wasn't even a thing on my radar to even come about? Like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, why
Like,
why are you keeping it under wraps?
yeah,
Why aren't you telling us?
yeah. There's a lot of
What
stuff.
are you thinking?
This is just a prime example of one of the many things that they have just undisclosed,
Hmm.
or whatever, just under wraps, right? But it's insane, man. It's insane. And one thing I want to touch back on, I know we're going everywhere on this, but
Yeah,
we were talking
that's what
about
we do.
just though that's what we do. It's what we will be doing. But one of the things we were talking about just about in regards to the hybrid breeding program, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to tie to this. So Lazar had he read documents describing alien involvement with human history for over the last 10,000 years and featured photos of the beings called the Greys. And one thing he did touch base on in this documentary is saying that aliens looked at us as vessels. Vessels for what? He
Mm,
said he didn't really go into that.
yeah. Which is crazy because all Christians know, not to bring the religion
Yeah,
into
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I know that but uh, all Christians know that humans were God's creation made in the image of God.
Hmm.
And it's very, very strange that humans are the ones that all of these aliens and entities are after. So I'll just leave that at that. But there's a big story to this, and it all ties in and it all connects. But we just have to keep going and allow more evidence to come out. But there's something going on. There's something going on, and there are people in places of power that are deliberately hiding all of us from seeing the truth.
We're talking about that, right? Just because I came across this movie not so long ago. You've seen like the Alien movies, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
like when I was a kid,
okay,
but
so
I wouldn't remember.
so have you Prometheus is one of like the prequels to the to Aliens, right? Like before,
Okay,
kind of how they got created and all that.
sure.
So let's see. I'm trying to see if I can. I'm not trying to butcher this 'cause I want you to see like what you think about this, how everything ties in, right?
Hmm.
So the aliens. I'm trying to make sure I get this right. Let's see. Switzerland, seated life. That's cause. So, uh, someone had brought this to me talking about how in Prometheus they call themselves the engineers. Engineers are the ones that created the alien specimen. What they were trying to do. They were trying to create a more advanced, uh, so-called human, right? So Prometheus, they sent one of their own, an engineer, which they trying to theorize that it was God that they sent down there to create humans.
Mm.
But when they found out that humans just became, they were ravaging wars against each other, they were killing each other. They had sent the aliens down to Earth to pretty much destroy them because they saw all the chaos and murder and everything, and also because they had saw that they turned against Jesus as one of the creators of humans, and just they were kind of trying all this in, and I'm like, what the hell, like who comes up with these theories? It's crazy because they were like, it fits so perfectly because it's like, dang, it's so engineer God created humans, humans killed him, and then they said, nope, we're gonna X that. Never again will we help this planet, and they just left it as is, and they just let say that they pretty much in their mind said they're just gonna kill each other, and that's gonna be the end of them.
Yeah. So
That's
you're asking my opinion on that?
no, it's just crazy. No, I said, have you ever
Oh,
heard of it? I was just saying that
oh.
that's just crazy. I was like, I don't know. Have you? I was just asking if you heard of that
I,
theory, or have you heard of anything like that tied in with that? Just biblical wise.
biblical wise, that closely ties in with the Nephilim,
Nephilim.
the Watchers, and
Yeah.
that you can read more detail about them in the book of Enoch, where basically God had created humans, and then the Watchers came down, which were fallen angels. So
Mm,
when there was a battle in heaven that took place, and Lucifer, which was God's favorite
Favorite,
angel,
yeah, yep.
the angel of light, he took 1/3 of God's angels away from him because he wanted the authority of God. So basically, he was always going to he led the rebellion, and he was always going to be the leader that challenged God's authority. So everything that he comes out, it's always going to counter anything that God says. So the
Oh,
Nephilim were
okay.
the ones that came down. You got to understand, according to the Bible in Genesis, the Satan, which is Lucifer, was the one who convinced Eve, "Oh, you will not surely die if you eat
Eat that
of
apple.
that tree of
Yeah, yeah.
knowledge," right? But God had told them, "Do not eat that tree. You can eat anything else in this garden, but do not eat of that tree, the tree of knowledge." And Satan came in in the form of a snake and
Persuasive.
said, "Surely you will not die." That was the first lie,
Mhm.
the first deception. Eve believed the snake over God and went ahead and ate it, and then became enlightened and told Adam, her husband, Eat this tree.
Yeah.
Man, this is bomb." You know? And then, then after that, eventually they came out with taco trucks, which is amazing. Have you ever had food from a
Amazing.
taco truck, a
Yeah,
genuine taco
yeah,
truck? Man,
yeah, right.
right? Chef's kiss.
Just
So, but then, in Revelation or in Genesis, they talk about the stories. That's why they had to do the flood, was
Yeah.
because the Nephilim had come down and taught the humans metal, how to form weapons, how to make weapons, how to do spells, how to do all this stuff that was forbidden knowledge. That God, the reason why he didn't want people to have this knowledge was because he knew that with sin in their heart, they were going to do bad with that stuff. So that's why they were never meant to have this knowledge. So that's been this concept, this deception. When you read stories like this where people are telling you that, oh, humans did this, and really they're supposed to be the top, whatever. The Bible warned people of these stories. So you have to be careful. The snake came in to deceive and to lie early on, and that lie has persisted for 6,000 years.
Mm,
So that's where you just have to be careful.
yeah.
And we are now at this time. I think that in this timeline that we're in, we're now at this time where we used to be able to say, and I just said it just a few minutes ago, not to get religious, whatever, right? But I think that we are now hitting at this point in this timeline where we have this line in the sand, and I think we do have to start showing our cards a little bit. Whose
Mhm.
side are you on? And if people want to go counter of God and of Christ, then that's the element. But it's very good for us to know. We need to know what side you're on so that we know who you're fighting for.
Yeah.
But it's got to be revealed. It can't be concealed any longer, because once you conceal where you stand on certain things, then we already know what side we're on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're the enemy or you're an ally.
Are you the ops or are you with us?
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah. No, but one joke that I heard a lot in the interwebs in regards to Adam and Eve, when Eve bit into the apple, this guy the joke, she's like, yeah, just shows you why women don't listen.
Yeah, right, right. I know. That's a good one. That's a
Yeesh.
good one.
Oh my
I love
god.
it. I love it.
Oh, that's insane though. But
Yeah.
man, no, it's yeah, dude, it's crazy to I mean, weird times we're living in, bro. Really weird times we're living in. But
Yeah.
you know what, baby? I'm glad we're
Great
back
awakening.
I'm glad we're back in the pod to discuss just all the stuff that's been going on. I
I
mean,
know.
we're seeing a lot more of us, so hopefully you're not too sick of us, of course, So yeah, we'll be back to just give you more enlightenment, more humor, more just to do, just something for you to enjoy your day, while you're at work, while you're, out on a jog, while you're washing your car, you're mowing the lawn, whatever, just something to keep you guys entertained and just just give you some good laughs. So, but
I love it.
other than that, brother, you got anything else though? I mean, I know we're just that alone. I mean, we're pretty much over the hour mark, but if you got anything else you want to touch base on, I mean, just feel free, bro.
I think
Camera's all yours.
just the fact that after that few month hiatus that we
Yeah.
took, I mean, and for us to just jump right back in the saddle,
Right.
Brokeback style,
Yeah, bro.
just right, two cowboys, one horse. It's I think it went very well.
Oh, dude,
That
no,
was
it's like I
awesome.
think once we've done it a few more times, it's like this ain't our first rodeo. This comes like it's like secondhand nature.
It's
You know what
hard to
I'm
quit you, man.
saying? Right. No, man, but okay, so we'll wrap this one up then.
Yeah.
So, for all you lovely folks, of course, who are listening or who have listened to us, or any newcomers, welcome, welcome. You can find all our past previous episodes, or even this one, on every major streaming platform, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn FM Radio, all that jazz. But you can make it easy for yourself. Just you can actually just Google us, Beyond Expedition Podcast, and it'll give you our Instagram, where we're at, and yeah, it'll make it easy for you to just click the link. Boom, it'll take you there directly. But nonetheless, we're gonna wrap this one up. We'll see you in the next one for sure. So this ain't over till the fat lady sings. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care. We love you. Stay safe out there, and nonetheless, peace, baby.